Coming up, California Senator Kamala Harris announced she'll be running for president in 2020.
And later, Iowa City residents and University of Iowa students honor Martin Luther King Jr. with a day of service.
We'll tell you about a record-breaking performance in Carver Hawkeye this weekend.
And which Iowa wrestler lost his cool?
Rain and snow will hit Iowa City today. Find out where and when in weather.
All that and more coming up on this Tuesday morning edition of DITV.
Don't go anywhere. DITV starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Mackenzie Cooper.
And I'm John Chenoweth.
Senator Kamala Harris announced she will be running for president in 2020 on Good Morning America Monday. DITV reporter Will Silverstein is in the newsroom to tell us more. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Kenzie. Harris is the junior Democratic senator and former Attorney General of California. Harris succeeded four-term Democratic Senator Barbara Boxer in the 2016 election cycle, and in that election, Harris campaigned heavily on her endorsement from prospective presidential candidate and fellow Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. The endorsement advertisements focus particularly on their similarities, such as fighting for LGBTQ rights, economic reform, and they are both attorneys. Here's what Senator Warren had to say about Harris throwing her hat in the race.
I think this is terrific. You know, Democrats are full of ideas and full of energy. And that's how we're going to make real change in this country.
Does she cut into the type of people who would vote for you?
This is about getting out there and talking about what we believe in. It's about bringing more and more people into the fight. That's the way we're going to make real change. I'm delighted.
Harris visited Iowa City on October 23rd ahead of the 2018 midterm elections, and she'll be returning to Des Moines next week. Kenzie?
University of Iowa students received a hawk alert yesterday about a fire in the area of Clinton and Burlington Street. The fire was caused by a propane tank at a construction site. The fire department arrived at the scene and controlled the fire.
The snowfall on Friday and the cold weather on Saturday did not stop the crowds from gathering in the Ped Mall for Iowa City's third Women's March. Saturday brought people of all backgrounds to join the movement. The march began with three keynote speakers who emphasized the need for more women in government. They also shared how women would influence the need for change. People gathered to commemorate the history of women everywhere.
The MLK Day of Service took place yesterday with students and residents from the Iowa City area coming together to give back to the community. DITV News reporter Noah Gowdy went over to the IMU to find out more about the volunteer opportunity.
An event that has been going on for more than 10 years at the University of Iowa has seen incredible growth, with more than 300 volunteers showing up yesterday to volunteer their time to give back to those in need.
Being a part of a day where you just get to give back to the community is pretty awesome. Just because I always think about what if I was in that place and I needed some type of help. I would want people to come out and support and help me in that aspect too.
One of the biggest projects being worked on yesterday were literacy kits for the community.
So all of the kits go out to kids in the community, and they're focused on kindergarten to third grade. So we're trying to really increase grade literacy by third grades.
Each kit takes about 30 minutes to put together, and last year alone, the event made and distributed 1,794 literacy kits for children in schools throughout the community.
Volunteers that are here today are making a huge difference in the community.
Not only are they making a difference in the Iowa City community, but they are also learning the importance of giving back.
It's important to give back. It's important to be a part of your community. It's important. This day is important and it needs to stick around.
Organizers say they plan to continue this event for many years to come and are excited by the growth they have been seeing. Reporting from the MLK Day of Service in Iowa City, Noah Gowdy, DITV News.
Now, there are events planned all week to honor Martin Luther King Jr., and if you're interested in attending one, you can find them at mlk.uiowa.edu. Now, Mackenzie, obviously, we're going to be looking forward to some lower 70s temperatures coming up, you know, some great weather.
Oh, I know, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
joking.
wish that was
No,
the
that's-
case.
yeah, that's not
Yeah,
gonna
pretty funny joke, John.
Yeah, hilarious.
But you know, fingers crossed, it's not too late to cancel classes. But I guess we'll have to see. So
agree.
let's toss it over to Jacob in the weather studio to find out. Jacob.
Thanks, guys. We have some weather coming in, and I'm talking about rainy, icy mix with a light blanket to top it all off. Looking at your local forecast, we will be experiencing chilly temperatures right around 34 degrees. Now, we're going to have a chilly, freezing rain situation since we're right above the freezing temperature. Most areas will probably experience that freezing rain around here. And then moving on to your evening, we're going to be experiencing temperatures right around 15 degrees. And that's when the snow is really going to start coming down, and we're going to be seeing that for the rest of the day. Looking at our snowfall totals, we're going to be pretty much the entire state of Iowa is covered in snow by the end of the day and into Tuesday night. Counties such as Fayette, Black Hawk, Buchanan, and Lynn are going to be experiencing pretty much a good about 6 to 8 feet of snow up above this line. And then right just north of Cedar Rapids and down, we're going to, those counties, Johnson, Washington, Keokuk, and Cedar, are going to be experiencing more around 2 to 4 inches of snow. Again, this could vary, of course. This is only an estimate, and we will see how that will go. Moving in a little bit closer, you can just like see that definite line. Really cool how it just comes straight crossed on a diagonal line through Iowa. So we'll just see how that snowfall comes around. But moving into your extended forecast, we're going to be seeing snowfall throughout the entire day of Tuesday with a high in 36 and a low of 14. Moving on to Wednesday, we'll see partly cloudy skies with a high at 18 and a low of 9. Thursday is pretty much fully cloud coverage with a temperature in the high of 18 and low at negative 13 degrees. Also keep in mind we'll be seeing wind gusts up around 20 miles per hour. So you're going to want to make sure you have your coats on really tight for that weather if you're walking to class. Friday we'll be experiencing another round of snow with about a 50% chance with your lows in the up mid-teens and a low at -5. And then Saturday, rounding up the week, we'll be experiencing partly cloudy skies with a high at 11 and a low at around 1 degrees. So as you guys see, it's going to be pretty cold for the next few days. Make sure you keep warm, take your coat and gloves on your way to class, and back to you guys at the desk.
The Engineering Fluids Laboratories in the Siemens Center on the University of Iowa campus held an open house over the weekend. The lab has been open to students since October 2017, but the final pieces of equipment have been put into place. It is composed of 3 rooms, and it includes large experimental devices such as a wind tunnel and a towing tank. There's also a fluids workshop where students can perform their own experiments. There are 4 courses at the university who currently hold classes in the lab.
The University of Iowa Spirit Squads were in Orlando this past weekend competing in college nationals. The competition, held every year at the Walt Disney World Resort, brings schools from around the world to compete for the national title in cheer and dance. The Iowa cheerleaders brought their game day routine while the dance team competed in the jazz and pom divisions. In the end, the Iowa dance team placed 5th in the nation in pom. Well, John, congratulations to the Iowa dance team, but I heard they weren't the only sports team that was busy this weekend.
That's true. You know, coming up also this weekend, we had tennis, wrestling, and basketball, and obviously we got a lot more sports coming up later this week, so I say we toss it over to the sports studio and see what they got to say.
Well, it really has been a fun couple of days in Hawkeye sports.
Yeah, we saw basketball, wrestling, tennis, and more in action over the weekend.
And we'll start off with the men's basketball team who took on Illinois on Sunday in Carver.
The forecast was snowy outside, but in Carver, it was raining buckets.
Tyler Cook made his return after being sidelined with an ankle injury, and he made his presence known with his dunk over 3 Illini defenders.
And Joe Wieskamp shot a perfect 6 for 6 from the field, including 4 3-pointers, which helped him earn Big Ten Freshman of the Week.
Iowa broke the record for the highest field goal percentage in Carver, shooting a whopping 68% from the field on the night, which helped the Hawks take this one 95-71.
You don't know game to game who's going to be the man. Obviously today it was Joe and Isaiah. And I thought Connor was terrific. But then J-Bo at the start of the second half catching fire, I thought he was terrific. You know, so Tyler's got to get his legs back underneath him. I thought he did some really good things. He'll get it figured out. Same thing with Luka. The first half, he was pretty decent. The second half, he was tremendous. That's the kind of team we have.
Nicole, Iowa's been pretty hot as of late. Ever since that road loss to Purdue, they've been killing it. But Iowa will face number 6 Michigan State Thursday night in Carver Hawkeye.
And Iowa wrestling was back on the mat as Rutgers came to town this last Friday.
To kick things off, the one and only Spencer Lee got himself a pin less than 40 seconds into the match against Nick Denora.
Pat Lugo had a face-off with second-ranked Anthony Ashnault and lost in sudden death victory 3-1.
And at 165, Alex Marinelli continued his dominance when he pinned Anthony Oliveri with his legs to make the score 20-3 in favor of Iowa.
Sam Soule made another surprise appearance in Carver as he shut out his opponent 10-0.
Hawks went on to take this one 30-6.
Suriano and Ashnault have been tough wrestlers for a long, long time. And we know what we got when we're wrestling those guys. And so those were two matches that, for this guy, you know, you're really gearing for. And DeSanto handled it. And we got to keep getting better and go on. We've served a little notice now. All right, the cat's out of the bag, so to speak.
Now, you might have noticed that Brands referenced a match that we did not.
Yeah, that's right. Some might call it the match of the year. And DITV's wrestling beat reporter John Rawson has the story.
In a match that brought all the hype, DeSanto versus Suriano delivered. But in the beginning, it was like a lullaby. A couple cautions and some escapes accounted for all the points on the board. Then, with the score essentially tied at 4, DeSanto delivered in the waning seconds.
I got to my tie. He was blocking me off with the fingers a little bit. We were going at it. And once I kept getting to that tie, I hit it. Kind of surprised myself a little bit. I mean, I need to fire more shots off and do a lot more things, but I mean, got to cut that corner.
In fact, DeSanto surprised himself so much that he let his emotions take over after the match.
I mean, I just screamed in his face. I shouldn't have. I mean, it's something we've been working on with Tom and Terry. I just got to stay calmer.
You let him be him. What happened out there in that match cannot happen. You know, we're in Carver Hawkeye Arena, and it's dual season, and tournament time comes around, there's referees that will throw him out.
And he's just, like I said, he's an emotional kid. I mean, in practice room, he's the same way. He gets taken down, you know. He's like, darn it, you know, he gets back up, and he's like, what did I do wrong? He wants to learn. That's just how he is. So he's improving, and we love him, and he's awesome for our team, great for the sport.
Reporting from Carver Hawkeye Arena, this has been Jonathan Rawson, DITV Sports.
This win by DeSanto clouds his possible matchup in late February against Oklahoma State's Dayton Fix even more.
Well, on to men's tennis. They opened their season this weekend in the Hawkeye Tennis Recreation Center.
The team had a clean sweep against Western Michigan and Marquette on Saturday.
Iowa won 6-1 over reigning MAC champion Western Michigan and 7-0 over the reigning Big East champ Marquette to start their season off 2-0.
As a team, collectively, we just have to bring out a ton of energy every single day. I think we do a great job in practice. I think our practices are at extremely high level, but translating that into a match can be difficult. So I was very impressed how the guys did overall with their intensity. When you're out there for 2 or 3 hours, it can be tough to keep up the enthusiasm. But the guys really bounced off each other and they stayed together as a team, and that was just really important, and that's why we got the win.
Iowa will host North Dakota and East Tennessee State on Saturday.
That's it for us in the sports studio.
Come back tomorrow to see how women's tennis team did on their home opener.
Guys at the desk, back to you.
Thank you for tuning in to this Tuesday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news every day of the week.
And if that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on stands now.
For DITV, I'm John Chenoweth.
And I'm Mackenzie Cooper. Have a great day, Iowa City.